All right. Okay. So I'm going to start with an introduction, and after that, I'll hand over to Ejiro to continue her presentation. My name is Ejiro Ojameruaye. I'm the dad of Ejiro, and today we're going to talk about Nigerian food. As you all know, food is an important aspect of people's culture. So as we celebrate Black History Month, it is important also to look back to the continent of Africa, from where African Americans have their ancestry. So when we celebrate the achievements of African Americans, we should also take the opportunity to know about the culture, peoples, and achievements of the African continent. Now, Africa is a very large continent, the second largest in the world, with an area of almost 12 million square miles, and so many nationalities. So there are various types of foods, dishes, and what have you in Africa. So Nigeria is one of the 54 countries in Africa. So many countries. Even within Nigeria, there are so many ethnic nationalities, over 200. So also there are so many dishes, foods, cuisines. But today we are just going to zero in on a popular one we call the jollof rice, which is what my daughter is going to talk about. But before doing that, there is a drive. We have a slide, some slides, a document we prepared for this that gives a little bit of history of the different types of foods we have in Nigeria. It's available on Google Shared Drive. So if you have time, you can go through that and see the large list of various traditional popular foods in various parts of Nigeria. And these are the ones we usually find in restaurants, in hotels. Other than what you see in that list, there are also very, very, very many, you know. And also in that list, you'll find links to YouTube videos on how to prepare some of these various types of food, ranging from cassava-based food, plantain-based food, rice-based food, different types of soups, beverages, breakfast items, you name it. So you'll find a lot of videos in that slide. And in addition, I have the 2 stores in Phoenix, Arizona, where you can buy some Nigerian food items. So if you're interested, you can go to those stores where you can see the one is a Nigerian store with Nigerian food items. And there is another one, the Chinese Lily, where you have a lot of Nigerian food items as well. So with that said, I'm going to start with this video. I'm going to share the video my daughter prepared to start sort of a promotional video.
Emma, we can't hear it. I think you
can hear it? Oh, okay. Let me try it. Let me do it again.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you might just need to select the optimized video.
Now,
bachelor's, and now I'm currently master's prepared from Grand Canyon University as a nurse practitioner. My name is Ejiro, and I am a former student over at Paradise Valley Community College. I started my nursing degree at Paradise Valley Community College. Started taking classes to become a certified nursing assistant. I eventually transferred over to Scottsdale Community College where I got my nursing degree. I moved on to Arizona State University, got my bachelor's, and now I'm currently master's prepared from Grand Canyon University as a nurse practitioner. I work in rheumatology, dealing and treating a lot of arthritis and autoimmune disorders. I am proud to be able to present today on Black History Month about my culture and my origin. I was originally born in Nigeria. I moved to Arizona at age 11. Nigeria is a very proud country. We're very happy people. Education is a big part of Nigeria. We strongly believe in education. One thing that we're known for is our food. And on this Black History Month, I would love to present a dish, jollof rice. If you've never heard of jollof rice, you need to try jollof rice. I will be providing the recipe on how to make jollof rice. It's a pretty simple dish and tastes really great. If you've ever had the Spanish yellow rice, it almost looks like that. It just tastes a little different because we love spice. So we make our jollof rice pretty spicy. It's cooked in a tomato base with the rice, some seasoning, some herbs, and chicken broth. You just let it cook to a nice consistency, mix it all up together, and enjoy. It's very addicting, I must warn. We're known for other wonderful foods like fufu, usually eaten along with different kinds of soups made from fresh vegetables, herbs, and grains. We also love things like plantains, which are like bananas, bigger type bananas. And we eat a lot of foods that have beans in them too as well too. But jollof rice is one that will be easy for everyone to partake in and try during this Black History Month, cooking at home and enjoying. You can eat jollof rice with chicken, fish, steak, whatever you like to eat it with. It goes well with most things. You don't have to make yours spicy like we do, but it's always fun when you eat it spicy. Again, I'm very happy and privileged to be able to present during this Black History Month, especially being alumni and a previous student over at Paradise Valley Community College. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Okay, all right. Ejiro, you can now start with your demonstration with the jollof rice. Are you close to your kitchen?
Yes, I'm in my kitchen.
All right.
I apologize. First of all, I was supposed to have my tripod and it's not working. So I'm just going to hold the camera and kind of walk you through the steps. Now, I'm not going to cook the whole meal from scratch because that would take about an hour. But I will show you the the process, what you need to gather for this dish. And I have the actual rice prepared already. So I'll show you the finished product. Okay. All right. So I'm going to switch the camera here to my, oh goodness, how do I switch the camera? Okay. So this is basically what you would need to prepare jollof rice. You would need an onion, actual tomato, a bell pepper, and the habanero pepper because, you know, like I mentioned, we like things spicy. We also use broth. I have vegetable broth here, but you can use chicken. You can use vegetable if you're a vegan or, you know, vegetarian, have a special diet. You obviously need the rice, and we actually use the Uncle Ben's parboiled rice, which is a better consistency for this type of rice. And you need the oil. You can use any kind of corn oil. I usually use olive oil. You need some tomato paste as well. And I have bay leaves, which you season the rice with. And in this bowl here, I have some salt, thyme, and curry powder. Those are the main seasonings that go in this dish. So in order to start, you need a pan, and I usually just, oh, sorry, that was hot. Go ahead and cut on the pan, and you heat it up, and I put oil, some olive oil in there. And while that's heating up, I usually will have some diced onions. Some of that I put in the oil and let that saute. You can also put some garlic too as well too if you like that garlic taste and flavor. While this is sauteed in a blender, I typically will have the bell pepper, tomato, the onion, and the habanero pepper all pureed in a blender. And that usually gives us a consistency of this, almost like a salsa consistency. And so when your onion is brown, you would take the salsa and put it in that pan. I apologize that this is not really cooking up fast, but again, I'll show you the end product. So you let this all cook in. At this point, when it's browning and getting more cooked, I add my seasoning all in the mixture. I forgot to show you all this, but this is called a seasoning cube. This is something that you can grab from the African store, international shopping centers that my dad had mentioned. This is not necessary. If you don't have this, you don't have to go out of your way to go get this. I believe some of the Hispanic stores have this also as well too, but it's just a seasoning cube that you can add in the mixture here, and you just toss it all together. While this is cooking all together, this is about the time I would add my tomato paste in this mixture and just have everything stirred together. Again, depending on the servings you're making, you probably want to change the amount of tomato paste and seasoning that you're using for this. But this typically we cook in here for about 15-20 minutes. Once that's done, you get a consistency that looks just like this. All right, at this time, I would add my broth into the sauce when I have a thick paste. In the meantime, I have regular rice that's cooking for about 10-15 minutes in salt water. You usually don't want the rice to cook all the way through. You want it to cook halfway and look something like this, because the rest of the rice is going to cook in this tomato broth. So once you're cooked about halfway on the rice, you add the broth in the sauce. And you want to gauge how much liquid you need to cook the rest of that rice up. And you stir everything together. You get your rice and you add your rice in there. And at this point, you add your bay leaf right in there. You want the bay leaf to cook in the rice. You stir it all together. And you grab a lid for your pot and you close it, and you put this on a low heat to slowly simmer and cook down. All right, and when you're done with that, this is the final product. And I have some here in a bowl, and this is what it looks like at the end. And like I said, you can eat this with some chicken, fish, steak, whatever protein you like. Traditionally, we eat what's called plantains. They're like bananas, a bigger, starchier form of bananas. We usually fry that in some oil. A lot of Puerto Ricans eat the same thing too. We eat that with the rice. You can eat some bananas with it as well too. And whatever you like to pair it with. The great thing about jollof rice, it can be made vegan, vegetarian, and it can fit whatever diet you have. If you are trying to stay away from white rice, you can cook it in some brown rice as well too. It all comes out pretty good. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about my culture, talk about jollof rice. Like my father said, you can go on YouTube and you see many wonderful videos on how to make this. This is just my way of making it. Everybody has their different way of making it. At the end of the day, it turns out to be a very delicious rice that you'll enjoy and love. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll take questions and comments. And Ejiro's mom is here. Also, my wife, she's listening. She's the one who taught her how to cook. So usually, in our culture, we say the best way to a man's heart is through food. So if you have a wife or a daughter, you have to teach your daughter how to cook, how to prepare a delicious meal. That's how to get to the heart of their husbands. So food is very important in our culture, and I think in all cultures, food is very important, especially the traditional dishes, very important. So the rice jollof rice that Ejiro has demonstrated, it's common all over Nigeria. It's a common delicacy, notwithstanding any part of the country you belong. And you find the jollof rice is served in virtually all hotels and restaurants in Nigeria. Other than the jollof rice, of course, there are other types of rice-based foods we eat in Nigeria. For instance, we have what we call the coconut rice. So you use the coconut to prepare rice. It's also very delicious. We also have fried rice. Sometimes we prepare the white rice. And as Ejiro has said, you eat the rice with protein. We eat a lot of fish or chicken or beef, or if you are a vegetarian, you can use vegetables, salads to go with the rice, and so on and so forth. So that's one of the delicacies we have in Nigeria. And as I said, there is a link in the chat window that you can, it's in the Google Drive. If you click on that, you see a lot of different types of meals that you can prepare, and with videos links on that. So we're going to take questions. If you have any question, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Emma?
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you said that you can add coconut, did you mean coconut milk or coconut water?
The coconut milk.
Coconut milk.
The coconuts, you get the white milk.
Okay.
Once you
that actually sounds delicious.
Very, very delicious. You prepare the rice just as Ejiro has prepared the rice now. Rather than putting the broth, chicken broth, you put the coconut broth in it. It's very healthy and delicious. We call it the coconut rice.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you another question. I noticed that she used a habanero. So is a lot of the Nigerian cuisine hot? Do you like spicy, or is that just happen to be this particular dish?
Ejiro, can you respond to that?
Oh yeah, a lot of the foods are typically spicy. If you try anything, a lot of but a lot of things that people pick up is how spicy the food is. Depending on your your spice level you can handle, you can always tone it down. It doesn't need to habanero. If you want something milder, like I use the red bell peppers, that's fine. But usually a lot of the dishes are quite spicy.
Any more questions?
So I have a question. I'm Michelle Marion, and I teach sociology at the college, and thank you all for hosting this program for us today. And I agree with Brian. I ate lunch, but now I'm ready for another round. I have a couple of questions. So do men ever learn how to cook? And then is jollof rice one of those dishes that you really do need to perfect, because you kind of get assessed? Different jollof rices get assessed and compared to each other, almost like a little chili cook-off type of competition or hummus competition or anything like that with the jollof rice.
Ejiro, respond.
I can answer that. Yes, men do cook in a Nigerian culture. It's actually a lot of men actually cook more than women, but they do cook as well. As far as the different types of cooking jollof rice, of course, when you cook it the first time, it might be a little bit soggy. It might not come out perfect. Practice makes it get better. And if you look at the other African countries in the continents like Ghana, Congo, everybody has their own version of that rice. Like I said, the Spanish people have their yellow rice. If it was in Nigeria, we'll call it jollof rice. And, it's just a name we'll call it, but it's that rice is a main dish, and it's common for people to cook it in that tomato sauce or that broth. And so when you go to Ghana, it might taste a little differently, but it's still the same idea, and it's still cooked the same way. Traditionally, back in Nigeria, This rice is cooked outside under firewood, and to give it a really smoky taste. So when you cook it at home on the stove, it really would taste different, say, if you get it back in Nigeria where it's cooked outside in the smoke and with all the smoke around it. But again, the idea is for you to kind of know how to cook it and try it out. And when you try different ones, you can kind of see the difference between the jollof rices. I hope that answers your question.
Beautifully. Thank you so very much. That's helpful.
Thanks, Ejiro.
Thank you.
I think your mom was trying to share something earlier, but her mute might have been on when we were talking about if it's common for Nigerian food to be spicy. So I didn't know if you wanted to unmute and share what you were commenting on before.
Let me go on the inside. It's not difficult for me.
Also, Ejiro, if you have the link that Emma was talking about, do you happen to have that to put in the chat?
Oh, okay.
Yes, I'll try to add it.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So with the coconut rice, you want to save the water in the coconut and you use it in boiling the rice. That will add extra taste to the coconut rice. Did you get that?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Ejiro, you said if you were cooking this in Nigeria, you'd cook it outside. Do you have any of the, like, have you ever tried that here in Arizona to cook it outside with the hot stove?
No, I've not tried it yet. But I do know some people, family friends that actually cook it outside in the backyard. They have the whole setup, but I've not tried it that way.
And there was a question in the chat about if any three of you could recommend some good places in the Phoenix area or the Valley to get Nigerian food.
There are several people that I know. I don't know if they have an actual restaurant open, but they usually, you would pre-order it like a Uber Eats kind of deal, and they would cook it and you would just pick it up or they deliver it. One of them is called Portions, like a portion of a meal, Portions. And they do have an Instagram as well, Portions Arizona, and they, you place your order on a Wednesday, Saturday. They have a menu. They have pictures on their Instagram. It's actually pretty nice. That way you can have an idea on what the food looks like before you order it. And they live right around North Phoenix, which we all live in, so that's good restaurants that you can check out. Thank you. Somebody just posted that. Yeah. And I posted the link also for the slide that my dad had mentioned earlier.
I think there are also some restaurants and African restaurants in Phoenix. I don't have their addresses now.
They're not.
They're close?
They're not.
I know there was one close to Grand Canyon University.
They're not. That's not the correct information. A lot of those have closed down. Right now, Portions is the only one that I know is able to serve around here. And they're not a restaurant. You just order ahead of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that the dish you shared is a rice dish, and I know we have I think a wonderfully international bunch on the call, and I know rice is important to a lot of different cultures in their dishes. So I didn't know if others wanted to share maybe how rice is important to their culture and their dishes, and how it may be similar or different than the recipe that you shared with us.
Actually, I have one. My husband's family is from Slovenia, and they make a rice dish that I've learned to make called risotto. And it's like risotto, sort of, and it's made similarly. We take and we burn onions. It's very important to burn the onions because it gives it flavor. And then we put chicken or some sort of meat in there and any kind of veggies you want. Then we dump a bunch of rice in it and we toast the rice. And then we dump a bunch of chicken stock and tomatoes into it as well. And then we let it all cook together until it gels really good and keep stirring it so it doesn't burn to the bottom of the pot. And it's called rajat.
That sounds yummy.
Very simple.
Yeah.
It's like a peasant food from the old country. So.
Vala?
Uh-huh.
What you just described sounds very similar to Mexican or Spanish rice.
Mm-hmm.
We do the same thing. I also like to burn the onions, but we're not supposed to. It's supposed to saute them. And then we also toast the rice. As a matter of fact, all the pasta that we use, a lot of it is toasted, including macaronis. You toast them before you add the water. We also use the bouillon cube and tomato sauce. And once it boils, the difference is we don't stir it anymore. We stop stirring and we just wait until the water is evaporated. And then that's how it becomes fluffy. And that's how we have our rice. But it's when you were describing it, it sounded very similar. And it also sounds similar to what Ejiro did in that you have the oil, you have the onions, you have, I like the idea of adding the chili to it because that's something we don't do, and some of the other spices which actually seem very delicious and something I would like to try.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for the rajat, we burn the onions because, and it took me a long time to actually get them to the right level of burned. Because when you think they're done, they're not done. And it adds so much of like the flavor. You're talking about the smoky flavor that they like to get in the rice. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives it a little bit of that quality as well.
Jen, any experience from from Vietnam? I know you take a lot of rice as well. Jen?
Our primary food is rice. We have got variety of rice dishes, but I'm not prepared to present today because I thought today is your show, so I did not prepare anything.
Any other question? Rice is the most common food in the world. More people, if you take frequency, more people consume rice than any other food. Rice in one form or the other is the most common food. Most people eat rice, if you take in terms of population, than any other food.
I have a question. Is your rice always pre-cooked when you make this dish, or do you ever put it in there raw or uncooked?
I've cooked it raw. You just have to make sure you put enough water to be able to absorb the rice, for the rice to absorb it. But most people pre-cook the rice. You don't have to do it that way. I usually wash my rice before I put it in anything just to get some of that extra starch off of it. Once I rinse it all off, then you can put it right in that tomato broth mixture and let it simmer slowly. And, it's as long as it all cooks evenly, that's all that matters.
Ejiro, I know you said that the rice is usually on the side, like with steak or chicken or something. Is there anything that you've seen in U.S. culture that maybe we do with our food that would be considered a taboo in Nigerian culture for how we might mix rice with different meats or vegetables, or anything maybe like a faux pas that you've seen as U.S. cultures utilized, or Emma, your wife, anyone? Yeah.
Not me. I don't see any taboo or difference. I don't know, maybe my dad might think differently.
No taboo. Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. what are some of the hardest ingredients to get in the U.S. That are prevalent in Nigerian cuisine? Are there anything, things that you normally would be able to access in Nigeria that you haven't been able to access readily here in, our supermarkets or our farmers markets or anything?
There's a lot with the soups that we make, and if you start to explore a little bit and you see different pictures of soups, there are soups called egusi soup, and we have so many soups, and they have such different leaves or herbs and grains that is used in them that I don't see them readily in stores here. And that's why we would have to go to the international market to get some of them. And even some of them you can't get here is usually when, say my mom and dad travel back home, they usually would bring that here with them. Like there's a soup called egusi soup, and what is used to make it is something similar to pumpkin seeds, but you can't use a pumpkin seed because it comes out a little differently. So the melon that's grown in Nigeria, it's a little bit different that they use for that soup. Things like yams. So the yams that we would eat back in Nigeria is a little different from the yams here that you would buy from a store. I believe yuca is the closest to yams that we have back in Nigeria. And I don't readily see yuca in a regular grocery store. That's usually at the Asian market. So there are a few differences, but there are things that are kind of similar that you can substitute for. So not having the traditional, say, yam, for instance, that we would have back in Nigeria, we would use the sweet potatoes or regular potatoes here as a substitute. They all pretty much have the same taste, just one's a little more starchier than the other. You just substitute with what we have here, basically.
Thank you.
And there is a Nigerian store on 43rd Avenue between what is that?
Between Camelback and Bethany Home.
And Bethany Home, yeah. So you have the import food items from all over Africa, and they sell in that place. So we normally go there to buy some of these food items. Back home.
Would you say that Nigerian food has more things in common with food from India or food from Asia?
More in common with Asia, with Asia,
More Asian.
With the Caribbean and Latin America.
Hold on.
Yeah, they're very similar to Asian and Indian food. Maybe like with the use of curry, we use a lot of curry in our food, like the Indian food, and just the use of rice and organ meats and stuff like that would be very similar to Asian type of cooking. Even the Spanish food too is pretty similar. There's a lot of things that are similar too. When you look across the border, even food here in America, some foods like in the South, like some of the foods they eat, the black eyed peas and stuff, that's what we eat back in Nigeria too. So it is very similar when you look at different cultures.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that I and Emma, we go to the same market, right? Lily Market, but we never met there. They were busy at different, shelves, so we've never met.
I was there yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lily's, the Chinese, Asian market, Lily's, they have a lot of international foods. So you have people from Africa, from South America and Asia. They always go to Lily's international market.
Yeah. And they have a whole section for Middle East and East Europe countries as well.
Yes, also from Eastern Europe as well. That's correct.
I popped into the meeting a little bit late. I'm sorry, I was in another meeting, but I had a question. I think I saw on a show one time that there's now a migration of recipes from Nigerians in America back to Nigeria. Is that true, or maybe that came up? Is that all happening? Is that it's a kind of reverse migration of recipes going back to Nigeria, or am I making something up, or is that not happening? I'm just curious.
It's happening. It's happening. There's migration. The Nigeria is becoming more international, especially in restaurants and hotels. You serve a lot of international. We have Chinese restaurants a lot in Nigeria. Chinese restaurants. So we have American restaurants. So the food culture, there's convergence in food culture all over the world. So it's something that is happening. Migration of food, as it were. Yeah, it's happening. The world is becoming a global village. So, which is why it's good to see what other people eat, their food, and taste of it, and it's happening all over the world. Yeah. So the food our people eat today is very, very different from what they ate maybe 100 years ago. The recipe has changed considerably. Like the jollof rice Ejiro just presented, my ancestors did not eat jollof rice. They just prepared the white rice with stew.
Coconut rice.
That's white rice. Or coconut, or what we call it banga rice. Banga rice is the palm tree. You see the palm tree? You have the juice from the palm tree. You use it to prepare the rice because we have a lot of palm trees in Nigeria. So that's the type of, actually that is the original type of jollof rice in Nigeria, using the palm nut fruit to prepare the rice. But these days, people don't eat much of that. Only if you go to the villages in Africa, at least in my part of Nigeria, people still use the palm nut, palm fruit rice. In Nigeria, they call it the banga rice. That is more traditional than the jollof rice, which is more international. Yeah. Any other question? I'm sure after COVID, because of the COVID, many of the African restaurants have closed in Phoenix. Because of COVID, they could not continue, no patronage, so most of them have closed. But as Ejiro said, there are some, you can order for the food and they can deliver to you at home. So that's what people do, especially those, many Africans, those who are the younger generation who cannot cook, they place order for those food and they are delivered to them at home. Yeah.
I just want to thank Ejiro for being here and for presenting to us, taking the time to be a part of this Black History Month here at PVCC. So I just want to give a big thank you out to you. That dish looked amazing. I mean, like I said in the chat, it's just made me hungry all over again. And I just ate a late lunch. So I just finished eating not too long ago. So I'm ready to eat again. So, once we get back to campus and we start having our potlucks and things, I hope your dad feels free to, invite you to one of our potlucks and you can bless us with that wonderful dish. So then maybe we can see how ours turn out when we try it compares to yours. So I would look forward to that. Just looking over this menu, it's making me hungry too. I'm just checking out this Portions AZ menu. It's got a lot of good food on there. Dr. Dale, I don't know if you've seen that. We were looking at that right before you popped in. But yeah, this menu looks good. So I would like to try this out too, some of these different things. One question I have for you, actually for all three of you, Ejiro and Emma and your wife as well, is since being in Arizona, have you guys felt like a sense of community in the Nigerian, culture, here in Arizona? as far as like many different things for Nigerians and having a community of Nigerian people and being able to enjoy some of the things that's a part of the Nigerian culture.
Mhm.
Yes, in Arizona, we have different Nigerian associations. We have the Nigerian Association. Then we have our ethnic, because as I said, Nigeria is made up of various ethnicities. And my ethnic group, we have our own association in Arizona, in Phoenix. We're about close to 40 people from my ethnic group resident in Phoenix. So we have an own association and we meet on a quarterly basis. Each quarter we meet, we rotate from home to home. And one of the things we do is that we prepare meals. We share meals during that meeting. There's also the Nigerian Association, where you have people from different ethnic groups. We also meet. And we have the end of year meeting, usually in December, where we bring foods from different and invite Americans, invite people from other cultures to attend that meeting also. We used to have the African Association of Arizona also, where we also meet and do a lot of activities. And other countries, you have the Liberian Association, the Sierra Leonean Association, the Ghana Association, and when they have their meetings, they invite us. We invite people like that. So there's a lot of community effort amongst Africans, amongst Nigerians, and amongst the various ethnic nationalities within each culture in Arizona. So you have that sense of community. And the good thing is that when we have these meetings, we usually invite people, Americans, to participate, to share our culture. You know, for instance, our ethnic end of year party we had last December 27th. I invited members of my church, the First Southern Baptist Church, and they were all there. They came. These are Americans, you know. I'm the only African who is a member of my church, but I invited members of my church to attend that party, and they enjoyed it. They took the Nigerian food and they were so happy, you know. So that sense of community is there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Joseph, you want to say something?
Yeah, you almost said everything. Same thing, we have our food culture, we cook whenever we are meeting, either as a Nigeria group or generally every African. So it's just the same thing. So from time to time, we are able to enjoy our food when we are gathered together. And like we said, you can always see such things to buy in the African market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to you, Emma. You have to give me some more information on some of those organizations, and you know, I'll be happy to hear more, and you know, maybe be able to participate in some of those things, sometime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I know for my own personal self, I want to be able to, learn more about, our ancestors, and just have more of an understanding of the African culture. And so I have the American side, the African American side, experience, but to actually, learn more about the African history and the culture, of our people is something that, that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that, as of recently, I've really wanted to, partake in more so. So yeah, I'll definitely reach out to you.
Very good.
Okay.
Next week, Friday, I'll be having a presentation on, on African history, past and current.
Okay.
Africa yesterday and today. It's going to be in the form of a quiz. We start with a quiz, then I'll use the quiz to answer the question and go back. So I take some important questions about Africa, then we'll discuss them. I'll first give the quiz, then going back to Egypt, South Africa, West Africa, before Christ, and immediately after Christ, currently, during the slave trade, after the slave trade, and current events in Africa. It's going to be very brief, but we're going to have a sort of a tour of African history using quiz.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting, yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Yeah, because, you know, a lot of misconceptions about Africa or misunderstanding, you know, in order to build good relationship amongst nations, amongst people, it is important to have the correct history. Understand where they are coming from and where they are going. Very important. And this is what I think the Black History Month offers. It offers that opportunity for us to see the other side of Black history, African history.
Emma, when I was listening to Brian talking, all I like to think about was last year when we were planning Black History Month, and actually we were going to actually have a speaker in March before COVID hit. We were thinking of soul food to have for our dinner or for our luncheon, and we actually had we're going to go try them out, and so we would sit there and talk about our mouths watering about what we were going to eat. This presentation by Ejiro today has really expanded our breadth, of knowledge of other foods that we could try. I mean, we were kind of limited, Ryan. Wouldn't you agree? Last year, and so any presentation we do from now on will actually be able to expand what we know. And so we really want to thank you and your family, Ejiro, and your wife for sharing so much of your culture with us today, because it sure has been eye-opening.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Dave, thanks for finding time to participate in this presentation. We appreciate your comment.
Oh, you're welcome. It sounded like I missed the best part, but unfortunately I was in another meeting, so I had to jump off that to get here. But I learned a lot while I was here, so I look forward to continuing with the programs for the rest of the month. And nice to meet the rest of your family, Emmanuel.
Yeah. Ejiro, I can see the grandkids there. Are they there?
Yeah.
So that's my first grandson. The name is Maro. Where is Ejiro? Meet there? Say hi. Mina, say hi.
They are adorable. How many grandkids do you have?
I have, how many do we have now? 6?
No, 7. 7.
7. Wow.
I've lost count. my first son has 3 daughters. Then Ejiro has 2 kids, those 2. My Ejiro is number 2. Then my third child, who is a medical doctor in California, has 2 kids. So how many is that? 7.
7. 7.
Yeah. So there are 7. That's so. Then we have 2 other kids. One just got married last year. They don't have a child yet. That's a physical therapist. Studied at NAU. And our last kid, Tega, is he there with you?
He was here. He just went to do something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that one just graduated from ASU. He's unemployed now. Thinking of going to do his master's. So we have 5 kids. Yeah.
So I heard Ejiro, you said that in the beginning you were talking about how important education is in the Nigerian culture, and that's kind of been my experience with many Nigerians that I've worked with in the past. They've taken education pretty serious. So I just want to know, and Emma, maybe you can elaborate on it. So like in Nigeria, how was that? How does that come to be? How did education just become so important in the Nigerian culture?
Education is very important because education is a passport out of poverty. Just say that, to put it crudely, with education, education can lift you out of poverty. People can see that the more educated a family is, the more, I won't say wealthy, the better their quality of life. Let's put it that way. So people see that relationship between education and quality of life. And every person wants a better quality of life. So parents, families, they do all they can to invest in their children's education, because that's the only way they can guarantee a better future for their children. So investment in education has the highest rate of return for families. So that's the driving force. Once people recognize that education can lift you out of poverty, they will invest in that. And you see the difference between families that are educated and families that are not educated. The difference is very stark.
It's a little different here with student loans, though.
In America, it's easier to get student loan, but in Nigeria, it's not so. So people struggle a lot to pay their ways through college. Families have loans are not readily available. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, well, I just wanted to ask that. I know that's a little away from the subject matter here today, but I just because I'm pretty sure the correlation can be seen here in America, in the Black communities as well, as the better quality of life that can be offered through gaining education. So, but oftentimes in many of our Black communities, it's not. It's something that's not pursued. So I just was wondering how that mindset, is embedded, in the people within in the culture, for more people to start to want to pursue more education so they can have that better way of life.
In Nigeria, up to recently, there was nothing like Social Security, no food stamps. You cannot depend on government to help you when you are poor. You can only rely on your family. And you can rely on your children. In fact, your Social Security, when you are old, is your children. So how do
And that is true. It's true.
So how do you ensure your Social Security? It's by giving education to your children, so that when you are old, they can take care of you. If you do not invest in your children, when you are old, your life is going to be a hell. Nobody you can cry to. You see? So that's why, what we do, like, I know that even if I don't have Social Security tomorrow, when I'm over 70, my children will be able to contribute money and take care of me. I'm very sure of that. Ejiro will contribute. The brother.
Go, girl.
All right.
I invested in their education. I'm very sure of that. They can never abandon me. That's part of the culture.
Good stuff.
I have student loans. I'm just kidding.
Well, you had student loans when you were doing your master's. At your undergraduate level, you never had a loan. I had to pay for your education.
Ejiro, we may have to call upon you again for your services to do another panel. For our alumni. So I'm the advisor here for health sciences degree programs, and so pretty soon we'll be doing another alumni panel for our health sciences.
Nice.
So it would be an honor to have you participate.
Absolutely.
And give our
posted
students.
my information on the chat box of my Instagram as well too. It's my cooking Instagram, but I do have other things, like I have a business Instagram and personal. So I do be on cooking. I'm a nurse practitioner. I work in rheumatology. I also do a lot of alternative medicine type stuff like infusion therapy. So I'm vast knowledgeable in those things as far as optimizing the immune system and really helping people during this time where there's COVID and people are worried about their health and infections. And so you definitely can reach out to me regarding that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And what years did you come to?
Nigerian kids, the Waboners, I think they are going to participate. They are also from Nigeria. They are alumni of PVCC, physical therapists. Yeah.
And then we have Jocelyn on the call today. She's one of our nursing faculty members. And I met Jocelyn when we both we were on a panel and for one of our classrooms and one of our health classes, and ended up being on the panel together. So so we got some health science folks here. So I tell you what, I don't do real spicy stuff. So I would have to taper mine down a little bit. I can't do real spicy. So maybe I might have to try. Might have to try it with the coconut as the base.
Yeah,
use
you love
coconut
that. you love the coconut.
Oh yeah.
And if you order food from Portions, just let them know to be easy on the spice for you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm going to probably order from them. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being a Thai hot, and maybe 2 or 3 being Mexican hot, what would be Nigerian food?
I would say about 3.5.
Okay, so it's all right.
Yeah, it's not quite as hot as Thai hot.
Okay.
Good. All right. Thank you all for participating in this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.
We did.
And we look forward to next time around, after COVID, we'll be able to present the food so that you can have a taste of the jollof rice and other foods. Yeah. So after COVID, we will prepare something and we share, Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice meeting you all.
Okay.
Thank you. Happy Black History Month.
Yeah.
Happy Black History Month. Nice to meet you guys.
Yes,
Thank you so
Nice to
much.
meet you too. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mm.